Hey, welcome back to the November episode of the Church Bulletin. This is our once a month podcast that we put out, and we just kind of explain what's going on here at Fellowship and invite you into what's going on, tell you about what has happened, and maybe hear some stories about events, staff members, things in our church community, and share that with you. So today, Emma and I are joined by Tim, our student director here, who is a lovely, lovely presence.
Thank you.
Exactly. So, Tim, thanks for joining us on our second, not inaugural, but it feels like we're still learning how to do this episode.
I'm glad I could help you with that.
Yeah. So we are going to kick things off today. We're going to do things a little different than last month. We're going to do a would you rather question. Okay. So we are going to just kind of randomly pull this up, and we're going to do a Thanksgiving themed one. So this is the best I could find in the 5 minutes I searched before this. This is a Thanksgiving themed, would you rather cook the turkey using only a hairdryer or microwave the mashed potatoes in a toaster? Wait, that doesn't make sense. This is ChatGPT. Let's try to make it more human. Would you rather cook the turkey with a hairdryer or the mashed potatoes in a toaster? I feel like that's easy for me.
Yes, mashed potatoes.
Not at all.
But it depends on what kind of toaster. If it is like a convection oven and the potatoes can go in there.
Do a turkey with a hairdryer?
You're
You
right.
will get sick because it's not going to get.
No,
You're right. But
I can't imagine. I wouldn't be able to do anything with the
You would
potatoes in
start
like
a
the
fire.
slotted
It's fine.
toaster.
I mean, it would get cooked. But
You
like,
throw the toaster away when you're done with it.
That's
yeah, but okay. But to make mashed potatoes, you need water.
Okay, pour water in it.
No,
In
but
the
like,
toaster.
you just need to at least cook
Just put enough
the
butter.
potatoes at some point with the toaster, and then you
What?
can do something else.
I mean,
If you so here, okay, ready for this?
okay.
So what if you cut the potatoes, kind of
Okay.
mash them a little bit, and then put them in there like a toaster, where they're still together. Then it
Yeah,
cooks it.
you can do that. I feel like it's more of
Okay.
like
I see
a
it.
hash brown
Yeah.
is what
But
you're
yeah,
gonna
but
get
it is
after
true.
that.
You're not gonna get sick off of like
Right.
raw potatoes
That's
like
true.
you would with a turkey.
But look, there's no rule. There's nothing in ChatGPT didn't say that we couldn't just like slice the turkey up before we cook it.
It's still
You're not gonna cook
not,
it.
not
I mean, if I
worthwhile.
could get it into like,
I can barely
half an
dry my
inch-
hair with a hairdryer. What makes you think I'm going to be able to cook a turkey?
yeah, I'd go through
Right.
like a dozen hair dryers, but I don't know. I mean, you're
I'm-
wasting. You're either buying a dozen hair dryers or buying a new toaster.
Yeah.
I think do
And
you
you
know
can
how
live. Which one do you
hairdryers
want?
can be expensive,
live.
even a cheap one. I'm team mashed potatoes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm still going team turkey, but
Because you
I see
can't
that
mess
I'm in
up
the
a
minority.
potato
here.
in my mind.
Yeah.
I love a potato.
Okay. Well, I'll take the loss on this one.
Yep.
Great question.
That was good.
I hope I never have to deal with that in real life.
Ever.
We
So
should try it.
yeah. So Emma, what do we got next?
All right, next we have roll call where we go through different ministry areas and we share what they've been up to. And so that is one of the reasons we have Tim here is because he recently took a group to North Carolina for like a disaster relief trip. So Tim, do you want to tell us more about like what prompted you guys to go and what you guys did there?
Yeah. So, which camera should I look at?
You can look at that one right there.
Okay. So so when Hurricane Helene came, like I heard from my parents who live about 45 minutes from kind of the nearest hit area, and they got, of course, flooded in their basement. Power was out for about 5 or 6 days, but as we started hearing things from like the mountains of North Carolina and starting to see some of the videos from the devastation that happened there, like my heart was honestly torn. Like I wanted to do something,
Right.
especially seeing some of the places that I grew up going to as a kid,
Yeah.
who now, I mean, their whole
Just didn't exist.
community didn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
It was kind of crazy. So like Tiffany was the same way. Like we both felt compelled to do something.
Mm-hmm.
So I mentioned it to Brody. It's like, hey, have you thought about taking a trip to the Carolinas and helping out? And he happened to be doing announcements that weekend, announced it, and had quite a few people interested in going.
That's super cool.
So yeah, ended up being a team of seven of us that could go that particular week, which was very soon after he announced it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we went and You may share the details, kind of what we
Sure,
did
yeah.
there.
Go for it.
I'm sure our snazzy video editor will have some photos going on
Yes, at this
Yeah.
while you're doing this. So go for it.
Yeah, so so we went with an organization called Praying Pelican, which is who we went to Belize with.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, when we're trying to figure out, what do we do? Where do we stay? Like we looked at Samaritan's Purse, Convoy of Hope, like all these places were already filled up as far as
Right.
their sleeping arrangements. So Praying Pelican, which we have a relationship with, said, hey, we have availability. So we kind of signed up with them. They provided lodging and food for us, which is awesome. And then they kind of told us where to go the first day, which was good. We went to Marshall that first day. There, we were in this little community right by the river. Every house on this road was affected except for one. And some were totally destroyed. Others were just heavily flooded. So we worked with a couple of different families there. One, Miss Mary, we took things out of her house. She had a lot of things in her house.
Oh, like ruined things from.
Yeah, and she liked to keep things.
Oh,
So,
yeah. That's not a good combination with a flood, man.
So we took things out of her house so we can start kind of the process of drying things out and kind of rebuilding there. Then we also worked with a guy named Mr. Black. He was in his late 70s. Water got about 2 or 3 feet into his trailer. And actually a team came up before us, like a week before we got there, and pretty much just
Gutted
gutted his whole house.
Yeah.
So we came in. There's a team coming up after us to kind of rebuild. So we kind of just did some detail work, like took staples and nails out of the
Wow,
joists.
that's really like on the ground stuff, though. Like you are next to the people that you are.
Oh yeah,
like
for
helping,
sure.
which is awesome.
So that was Marshall the first day, and then we kind of took a detour home back to our church that we're staying at, which is about 2 hours away. We took a detour through Burnsville because that's the area that I just saw a lot of pictures from, video from, and I knew it was hit pretty hard. So we took a detour through there, and we kind of saw the effects of the hurricane. So we decided the next day we'll just go to Burnsville and volunteer there. So we spent the rest of the week in the Burnsville area, and also Green Mountain, which is kind of right next to Burnsville. And there we did everything from mudding out a funeral home that the basement had mud and
It's like mudding out. It's cleaning mud out.
yeah. So when the river came through, it just leaves a film of mud.
Man.
So for example, in Marshall, there was a school there that we didn't work in, but others from Praying Pelican were working there, and it was 4 to 6 feet of mud.
I can't believe
the
that.
bed.
Oh my gosh.
So I mean, they spent the whole week just
Yeah.
taking that mud.
I mean, I saw some of those pictures that you have, and just like seeing like the cars that
Yes.
are up to the roof
Yes.
in mud. I just, man,
Yeah.
that's just terrifying.
So yeah, we did everything from kind of mudding out things. There was a store called Fred's that was kind of old. It's almost like a Big Lots.
Yeah.
But it had closed down, and they kind of opened that up as a store for the locals to come and get free food, groceries.
Like all the donations and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the cool thing was, like, so we had tons of donations that we were going through, and like we would open up a box and it would have a note from a family or a church in Montana or North Dakota or West Virginia or whatever. So it was so cool to see how churches from all over the country was coming to or wanted to send assistance.
Yeah.
Right.
So we just opened up boxes and then
Just spread it
put
out.
things out on the
Yeah.
floor as much as
That's
we
awesome.
could. So we did that for like a day and a half, and then we worked with another family, the Woodwards, who their story, they were probably about 100 yards from the river, and as water started coming up, they realized, okay, they need to get out. So they started to pull their car out, but the water was rising so quickly that they couldn't get their cars out. So they went into the house, gathered some things, and even by the time they got out of the house, it was already waist deep.
Wow.
Oh my
So
gosh.
it was rising that quickly.
Wow.
So they actually went up the hill just a little bit and slept in a tent
Oh my gosh.
that night
Wow.
as the water was rising. And just hearing some of their stories,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you know, you can hear trees falling and mudslides in the distance and power lines snapping.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That'd be scary.
So the next morning they came out, and as the water kind of receded down, they started kind of mudding out their house.
Mm-hmm.
So I got connected through a mutual friend with the Knights, and we met them there. They had been working with them for about a week and a half, and we went and just kind of helped them out. So they pretty much were half of the house they have already kind of demoed and gutted, and they were trying to get that side rebuilt. So then the other half they could start the demo process. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just a mixture of. So here's a cool thing. Like I've led lots of mission trips.
Yeah. Been with you on a lot of them.
And I love the details, like having the details, like this is what we're doing,
right.
The itinerary.
Yeah. The cool thing about this trip was we didn't have any itinerary,
Just show up.
and it was almost like, all right, God, what do you want us to do today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even like at Fred's. So here's a story of how the funeral home came into that whole deal happened. Is we're at Fred's, and Jason, one of the guys that was on our team, he was talking to a guy who worked at a funeral home. And that's kind of what we did. We kind of opened boxes, but we were talking to the people and kind of getting to know their story. And then he just was telling them, hey, I'm kind of mudding out this funeral home. It's kind of a family business. And Jason was asking him, who's helping you with this?
Yeah.
He's like, well, I'm just doing it on my own.
Wow.
So we looked up the funeral home. He didn't get his name or the funeral home, but he knew the logo. So we looked up funeral home, and then we just showed up.
Wow.
It's like, hey, we're here to help. And we did the whole basement in a couple hours. So it was really
so
cool. So it's just, we showed up and it's like, okay, God, what do you want us to do today?
Yeah.
So,
Especially in that place. I mean, there's just being willing to serve. Something's going to be there to serve.
And so we were there a little less than a week.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we did a lot, but there's so much
to do.
left to be done.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I feel like it's really hard. You know, my family's in North Carolina, so I hear from them, but I feel like it's hard being, 16 hours away here. And then you're just like, okay, you don't, things are bad, but you don't know how bad until, you have someone.
And even the pictures don't do it justice.
Yeah.
Until you're there.
Mm-hmm.
You see, like you're driving and the whole right side of the road is just washed away.
I can't imagine that. I can't imagine just washed away.
Yeah.
But thanks for sharing that with us.
Yeah, thank you, Tim.
And thanks for taking the leadership on that team. That was so cool. We've had a couple other things happen. We've had our daddy-daughter dance just happen. That was October 25th. That's right. Yep. I could not remember the exact date. Thanks for bailing me out there.
Dates of every event ever constantly in my head just because of the job.
Yep. And you took a lot of pictures there, right?
Yes. The past few years we've done the daddy-daughter dance. Oh my gosh, I love getting to go and just snap some of the cutest pictures ever.
Yes.
And it's just a really sweet night. Like just to watch all of the dads and daughters just like get down on the dance floor, basically.
Yeah.
Like it's so fun.
For sure. It's a fun thing I mean, I am not a dad myself, but I've seen dads out there with like their 2-year-olds that can just barely walk, and then their 20-year-olds that are just like, hey, it's nice to be here with you,
Or
so
18-year-olds, because that's the age
that's true.
limit.
Sorry, not 20-year-olds. Sorry, 18.
There used to be
There's a
older
cutoff
ones there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we had too many people on the dance floor. I think we had to cap it. So
I mean, we have a big turnout for this event.
It fills our gym up.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. We love to see that.
But our men's ministry does an amazing job putting that on. So it's really cool.
Mm-hmm. And then another thing that is not as of the recording of this podcast, because we like to get this to you as close to November as we can, but we are on the cusp of fall retreat, which will have happened November 1st.
Yep.
So we're going down at the end of this week.
Yeah, 1st through 3rd.
Yep.
I'm ready to lose some sleep. Ready to get soaked in the
we'll
horrible
give you an
force.
extra hour sleep.
Yeah,
on
we
Saturday.
get an
True.
hour.
That's so generous that you gift that to us.
It's intentional.
Yeah, fall retreat's a great opportunity. I know you could talk on it, but like our student ministry, we just get to go take a weekend away from most our typical distractions, and disconnect from life here just to get a opportunity to connect with leaders, connect with God, and normally nature, but I don't know. Nature's going to be a little soggy while we're there and cold.
It's normally so stunning out there. And it's
Create
going to
some
be
memories.
rainy.
Yes. Hey, we've looked
Yeah,
out
unforgettable of our retreats.
Yeah, exactly. Bring your ponchos.
Do you have a favorite part of fall retreat
Oh gosh.
or favorite thing about it?
This is not my favorite thing, but I love the time of year that we go because the leaves are so
So
I do
nice.
too.
stunning. I think last year was not quite as good, but
Yeah.
normally it's very good. So,
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. One thing I've learned about living here in Kansas the last 5 years is like fall is like a dice roll. Like it is just like, is it going to happen this year?
Do we get a week of it and then it's winter? We don't know.
Exactly. This year we've gotten a good bit of it. I feel like the 60,
kind of.
70-ish degrees. You know?
November, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what it does.
Yeah. Right. So that's basically all the big things that have been happening recently. And then we also like to do a segment called Last Call. So when you're watching this in November, these are going to be some of the things coming up right around the corner, all through the month going into December that we don't want you to miss. So we want to kind of put it on your radar so you can prep, get your calendars ready. Emma, what's the biggest, not the biggest, I shouldn't say that. What's the first thing?
What's the most important thing?
What's the most
Wow.
important thing at our church ever?
What could get me the least amount of trouble?
Yeah. God.
There's only one answer.
God's the most important.
Absolutely. But in regards to events, we have Bethlehem Experience happening again this year, which I realized I did not write down the dates on here. So keep your eyes peeled for.
I don't want to take a stab at it, but yeah, for sure.
I think it's like the first 2 weekends,
We're
like
doing
Friday,
2
Saturday,
weekends.
Sunday of December. But man, Bethlehem Experience is always really fun. And yeah, I don't know.
It's
It'll be
cool.
great.
We get to be on the back end
Yeah.
of like the prep for this, and one of our coworkers, Kyler, he's in charge of creating all the content for
All of
like
it.
the coloring books, the stamp books, the stamps, the graphics, all these things, and like just working on it. It's
Yeah.
amazing to see how much like intentionality behind even like stickers that we're offering,
And we're revamping the Hall of History, which is the first thing that you will
right.
come up to in your tour through Bethlehem. And he's doing some really cool animation
Yep.
with it. And so I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, for sure.
And to also being on the back end of things, I normally will like hop in with a tour to like photograph the tour. And so I love also watching people experience it. It's really cool as well. But that'll be happening in December. Check it out. Tell your friends and family. And then we have Christmas Eve
Oh, that's right.
Of course.
Oh, it happens every year.
every year,
every year.
like clockwork. What are our times for Christmas Eve, Benjamin?
I believe, and Wyatt is standing by to correct me if I'm wrong, I believe, we're doing 11, 1, 3, 5, and 7, the odd times this year. Last year, I think we did evens.
We did.
So this year, we're going odd with 11, 1, 3, 5, and 7 o'clock. Let me see. Yep, so we think that is correct. So
Confirmed.
hopefully, our video editor will make some notes if that's not correct.
Absolutely.
But yeah, we'll see how that goes this year. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
I love Christmas Eve.
Yep. It's a fun time. I mean, it's hard to not enjoy the like room full of candles, where people
and
are
Silent
just
Night.
singing. Yeah.
Love.
Church coming together. So the last thing I want to kind of put on your radar, actually, never mind. We're gonna hold that. We got a surprise for you for next month. We're gonna talk to you about on December's episode. So stay tuned next month for that. I think that's all we've got for this month, though, for November. So you guys have anything else?
I'm good.
Okay, sweet. Well, Tim, thanks for
Yeah,
being with
thanks
us.
for joining us.
Thanks for sharing about your North Carolina trip.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Emma, I guess we'll see you guys next month.
Yep. Bye.
Bye. See ya.